Srimad Bhagavad-Gītā as it is, chapter 2, entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized, text number 8. Nahi prapasyami mama panutyat Yacchocam ucchosanam indriyanam Avapya bhuma asapatnam hridham Rajyam suranam api chadipatyam Nahi prapasyami mama panutyat Yacchocam ucchosanam indriyanam Avapya bhuma asapnam hridham Rajyam suranam api chadipatyam Nahi prapasyami mama panutyat Yacchocam ucchosanam indriyanam Avapya bhuma asapatnam hridham Rajyam suranam api chadipatyam Nahi prapasyami mama panutyat Yacchocam ucchosanam indriyanam Avapya bhuma asapatnam hridham Rajyam suranam api chadipatyam
Nahi prapasyami mama panutyat
Nahi prapasyami mama panutyat
Yacchocam ucchosanam indriyanam
Yacchocam ucchosanam indriyanam
Avapya bhuma asapatnam hridham
Avapya bhuma asapatnam hridham
Rajyam suranam api chadipatyam
Rajyam suranam api chadipatyam
Nahi prapasyami pramāmayat
Nahi prapasyami mama panutyat
Yacchocam ucchosanam indriyanam
Yacchocam ucchosanam indriyanam
Avapya bhuma asapatnam hridham
Avapya bhuma asapatnam hridham
Rajyam suranam api chadipatyam
Rajyam suranam api chadipatyam
Nahi prapasyami mama panutyat
Nahi prapasyami mama panutyat
Yacchocam ucchosanam indriyanam
Yacchocam ucchosanam indriyanam
Avapya bhuma asapatnam hridham
Avapya bhuma asapatnam hridham
Rajyam suranam api chadipatyam
Rajyam suranam api chadipatyam. Word for word. Nam, do not. He, certainly. Prapashyami, I see. Mama, my. Apanudhyat, can drive away. Yet, that which. Shokam, lamentation. Uchchoshanam, drying up. Indriyanam, of the senses. Avapya, achieving. Bhuma, on the earth. Asapatnam, without rival. Hridam, prosperous. Rajyam, kingdom. Suranam, of the demigods, Api, even, Cha, also, Adhipatyam, supremacy. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. Purport. Although Arjuna was putting forward so many arguments based on knowledge of the principles of religion and moral codes, it appears that he was unable to solve his real problem without the help of his spiritual master, Lord Shri Krishna. He could understand that his so-called knowledge was useless in driving away his problems, which were drying up his whole existence, and it was almost impossible for him to solve such perplexities without the help of his spiritual master, like Lord Krishna. Academic knowledge, scholarship, high position, etc., are all useless in solving the problems of life. Help can be given only by a spiritual master like Krishna. Therefore, the conclusion is that a spiritual master who is 100% Krishna conscious is the bona fide spiritual master, for he can solve the problems of life. Lord Chaitanya said that one who is a master in the science of Krishna consciousness, regardless of his social position, is the real spiritual master. Kiva Vipra, Kiva Nyasi, Sutrakeninaya, Yei Krishna Tattvaveta, Say Guru Haya. It does not matter whether a person is a Vipra, learned scholar in Vedic wisdom, or is born in a lower family, or is in the renounced order of life. If he is a master in the science of Krishna, he is the perfect and bona fide spiritual master. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 8.128. So without being a master in the science of Krishna consciousness, no one is a bona fide spiritual master. It is also said in the Vedic literature, Sat karma nipuno vipro mantra tantra visaradaha avaishnava gurur nasya vaishnava svapacho guru. A scholarly brahmana, expert in all subjects of Vedic knowledge, is unfit to become a spiritual master without being a Vaishnava or expert in the science of Krishna consciousness. But a person born in a family of lower caste can become a spiritual master if he is a Vaishnava or Krishna conscious. Padma Purana. The problems of material existence, birth, old age, disease and death cannot be counteracted by accumulation of wealth and economic development. In many parts of the world, there are states which are replete with all facilities of life, which are full of wealth and economically developed, yet the problems of material existence are still present. They are seeking peace in different ways, but they can achieve real happiness only if they consult Krishna or the Bhagavad-Gītā and Srimad Bhagavatam, which constitute the science of Krishna, through the bona fide representative of Krishna, the man in Krishna consciousness. If economic development and material comforts could drive away one's lamentations for family's social, national or international inebrities, then Arjuna would not have said that even an unrivaled kingdom on earth or supremacy like that of the demigods in the heavenly planets would be unable to drive away his lamentations. He sought therefore refuge in Krishna consciousness, and that is the right path for peace and harmony. Economic development or supremacy over the world can be finished at any moment by the cataclysms of material nature. Even elevation into a higher planetary situation, as men are now seeking on the moon planet, can also be finished at one stroke. The Bhagavad-Gītā confirms, Shire punye martya lokam vishanti. When the results of pious activities are finished, one falls down again from the peak of happiness into the lowest status of life. Many politicians of the world have fallen down in that way. Such downfalls only constitute more causes of lamentation. Therefore, if we want to curb lamentation for good, then we have to take shelter of Krishna, as Arjuna is seeking to do. So Arjuna asked Krishna to solve his problem definitely, and that is the way of Krishna consciousness.
Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamaya Dadati Swavadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavana Pushta Shri Rupam Sadhyatam Sagana Raghunatham Tapam Sajivam Sarvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pradam Sagana Radhika Shri Vishakana Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhasya Jasatadine Mancha Kalpatanishta Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome everybody. Today we're starting we're continuing actually with this fifth theme, the fifth aspect of Arjuna's arguments. In the first chapter, Vishada Yoga, the surveying the armies on the battlefield, there was 4 arguments given. And then the fifth one falls into the second chapter. So, and we can see Arjuna is giving very powerful, very strong arguments why he shouldn't fight. So, anybody remember what was in the first chapter? We did it last week also. What is any one of the 4 arguments that Arjuna gave? Any one of them? Anybody? Yes?
Compassion?
Yes, compassion. C, compassion. Another? Yes, the destruction of dynasty. The mnemonic is CEDS. C, compassion. D, destruction of dynasty. E and S are left.
Enjoyment.
Yes, Prabhu. Enjoyment. Enjoyment. That's 3. And one more?
Sinful reaction.
Right, sinful reaction. So we got it. So we got Arjuna's 4 arguments. And now we're proceeding, especially in this first 10 verses, where if you did Bhakti Shastra, you will know that this first 10 verses is where Arjuna's doubts are cleared and where he surrenders to Krishna. Shishamam sadimam tvam praparanam. I surrender to you, Krishna. So it's one of the most practical aspects of the Bhagavad-Gītā. There are many practical aspects, but usually from where we are, it's the most practical because it is the part of life where Arjuna became a Hare Krishna. It's where Arjuna is saying, Krishna, I want to surrender unto you. Surrender, please instruct me, tell me what to do. For all of us to be sitting here, we have experienced this in some aspect or the other. Maybe we were not asked to do what Arjuna has to go through, but we had some situation, some calamity. Krishna says there's 4 types of people that come to him. Chaturvida bhajantima, jana sukhitu Arjuna, artha jignasya artharti. 4 types. Those who are inquiring, those who are diseased, those who are in search of wealth, and those who are distressed. There's Arjuna's situation, who is distressed. So he's in quite a calamity here because it is one of the most unthinkable situations according to morality. That why would God ask? God is supposed to be the all-good person, the all-powerful, the all-person for justice. And yet he's asking his devotee who doesn't want to shed blood, he's asking him to do this. It should be the opposite way around, right? But God is saying, no, I want you to do this. And this is where many times people, they misunderstand Krishna here. Now, why is, if Krishna is God, why is he asking him to do the wrong thing? But if you just see it in isolation, yes, it looks like there's a misunderstanding here. There's ambiguity here. But if you see it in context of the Mahabharata, Krishna did everything possible to prevent this war. He even went as Shanti Dut, as the peace messenger. Still Duryodhana didn't want to hear. He went as, they've tried every possible means, and still there was no other way but to arrange this war, this fratricidal war. Quite an amazing concept that a family, can self-destruct itself to that degree and destroy itself completely. We have family feuds that we know of, right? In our proximities with our loved ones, we have arguments sometimes, but not to this degree where it's self-destructing. This is really a powerful concept that a feud can lead to such a degree that it destroys the whole family. So Arjuna is in this dilemma. And what does he do? He uses intelligence and he realizes, like today's verse is saying, Krishna, I'm in grief. Anybody has been in grief? Yes, all the time, many of the time. We don't know what to do. Krishna, what do I do? God, if you're up there, what do I do here? You look left, you look right, like Arjuna, he's situated, if you see the Bhagavad-Gītā, right? The chariot is here, on either side, I think in the inner cover, or this one doesn't have it. On either side there's flanks, right? There's Bhishma and all the Kurus and his Guru, and Duryodhana and Dronacharya, all of them on either side. So he looks left. It doesn't solve his answer. He looks right. It doesn't solve his answer. So what does he do? He looks down. Down means, I give up. I don't know what to do. You drop your head. So many a time life takes us to that situation, especially when you're young. This is just a little poster to show, how many times in life we sat like this. Head tucked between your knees, and just saying, where am I going to with this? I don't know how to solve this situation. It's just too difficult. So Arjuna is in like a lose-lose situation. Like in modern ideology, it would be called lose-lose situation. He can't win as a warrior, and he can't win as a person. He can't, emotionally he's not content, because it's so disturbing, it's heavy on his mind, and he doesn't know how to handle it. So intelligence, one definition, one philosopher gave this definition of intelligence. He says intelligence means to do, yes. I thought you were not happy with something I said. So intelligence, yes. So intelligence means to know what to do when you don't know what to do. So listen to that again. To know what to do when I don't know what to do. So then you seek advice, higher level of inquiry. You seek advice, and advice is one of the most free things that everybody is willing to give. Everybody is willing to give advice, especially here in Vrindavan. Every second person is an Ayurvedic doctor here. So when you're sick, he can tell you a whole list of things of what you can do to get yourself better. So advice is free. Advice is free. That's the only thing that's free in this world. Otherwise, everything else you pay for. Right? So Arjuna, he's in this dilemma now. What should I do here? How do I handle this situation? And the previous verse, 2.7, he takes the biggest decision of his life. To put his trust, his life in the hands of Krishna. It's the biggest move we will ever make in life. He takes his indecision. He's frozen in indecision. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to handle it. And he just puts his whole trust in Krishna. Please, you instruct me. And how does it start, the Sanskrit? Yeah, so he gives his whole trust to Krishna and says, Krishna, you direct my life here. You guide me in this situation. Shishamam sadimam tvam prapanam. I'm your disciple. You know what is best for me. Now luckily, like I'm saying, he looks left, he looks right, either flanks, there's warriors who's ready to wipe him out. He drops his head, he looks down in distress, he drops his Gandiva bow. And then the only other option is up. Now luckily he doesn't have to look up because the person who's up there is sitting right next to him on his chariot. Krishna is right there next to him. So he says, please instruct me. Now usually when we have a treacherous, a very difficult situation to deal with, the first thing that we do is you take shelter in intelligence. You take shelter in your abilities. That means try to work it out firstly. If there's some distress, try to work it out. What can I do to figure this out? But this kind of distress, this kind of situation is not possible to be solved by your intelligence. It requires it requires intervention which is beyond the material realm in order to take you out of this realm. And that's Krishna's intervention. And how does he do it? He does it through the spiritual master, as we're going to discuss today. So when we start to realize that my abilities, the abilities that I have, cannot solve all the situations in life. They can solve certain situations. They can solve certain predicaments that I'm put in. But there's going to come a time when I'm going to have to say, Shishamam Tvam Sadimam Tvam Prapana. Krishna, please, I'm your devotee. I surrender unto you. And many times life becomes a road like this poster up here. It's just a big empty road. And it seems like it's endless that way, and it's so wide this way, and there's nobody around, and I'm all alone, and I'm just trying to find my destination, find my way through. And the easiest thing to do is to take shelter in material energy, as we must have tried before we came to Krishna consciousness, right? When there's distress, when there's calamity, what do? You try to, like the ostrich when it's attacked. You know the ostrich? It puts its head in the sand and doesn't see anything anymore. So there's no danger. It doesn't see anything anymore. So that's the first level of shelter, to take shelter of our abilities. But it definitely doesn't work. It's the denial aspect, that no, I can do it, it's just that I haven't figured it out yet. I think I can handle it. No matter what life throws at me, I can handle it, but I just haven't figured it out yet. I'm fine. And it's like this poster here. Can you see from there? It says, I'm fine. And there's a person in quicksand, and his whole head is covered right up, and he's got his two hands out, and this is the Western mudra. It means sab theek hai. Yes. I'm okay. This thumbs up mudra, right? So he says, no, my whole head is underwater there, right? But his hands up and say, no, I'm fine. It's okay, I can work it out. There was a His Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj was giving a class once, and he was saying how he went to hospital to visit somebody, and he went there, and as he entered, and they respectfully greeted Maharaj, and then he asked the patient there who he knew. He says, so how are you? He says, oh Maharaj, I'm fine. And then Maharaj said, if you're fine, why are you here in the hospital? Yes, so that's how it is. We deny that, no, it's not so big, I can work it out. But Arjuna used higher intelligence at it. And what is his character and capability? We'll see that in the next verse, in text 9, where the names of Arjuna is called out, and Krishna's name is Gudakesh and Rishikesh. So Gudakesh is one who has conquered sleep. Now it's not an easy feat, as you know, just to stay awake here. It's not easy, right? So what to speak of just continually staying awake. It takes so much of training and practice, complete mind control, complete determination to achieve what you want. So he's an Aryan, as we've heard. Arjuna is an Aryan. And he has tremendous qualities, very virtuous, Kshatriya. So he is regarded as Gudakesh. So he's not an ordinary person. And yet, in his situation that he's put in right now, he cannot solve it. In unsolvable situation. So what he does, he takes shelter. He takes shelter of Krishna. Krishna, I surrender to you. Please instruct me, please guide me in what I should do here. That is a sign of intelligence, to take shelter. Now we know when we joined, right? When you must have read Back to Godhead magazines also, right? There's a column there of how I came to Krishna consciousness. You read this? Yeah. So, and it's an amazing story that every one of us will have a unique story of how we came, which is just so fascinating. How Krishna intervened, how he brought devotees into my life, and how he's brought me to where I am. But what question we don't know and what we don't ask is why I came to Krishna consciousness. The why question is a very deep question, because that we don't tell anybody, because that's the difficulty we went through. That's Arjuna now. How we came is yes, everybody, that's a wonderful sweet story, but why I came, which means what was my predicament before I came to Krishna consciousness? What is the grief that I had to go through? What is the difficulties that I had to go through? And then when the devotees came into my life, what a relief! It was a release. It was like complete, like liberation. When the first days of you coming into contact with devotees and going to the temple, everything is fresh and new and exciting, and you're learning so much, and the experience is so powerful. So you forget that difficulty of why I took to this path of Krishna consciousness. So it's a fundamental question, and it's the same one that Arjuna is going through here. It's usually through grief. It's not all the time. Not all the time. Not all of us are so poverty-stricken that we come to Krishna because we don't have money, right? And maybe sickness, maybe we came because of a little health, sickness, disease. And some of them will be inquiring. Like later on in the class, we're going to meet somebody very special and very dear to all of us. And don't worry, it's not Satyasuta Prabhu. And you all know him very well, and he's very dear to all of us. And you're going to hear his story of how he came to Krishna consciousness and how he met Srila Prabhupada, similar to this situation of Arjuna at the end. So yeah, so how we joined, not how we joined, why we joined. So now we see that Arjuna, at this moment, he's having a moment of what spiritual seekers would call enlightenment. He has a moment of clear thought where he's understood that nothing within my ability in this material world can solve my situation. I have to have some intervention from a higher level of consciousness, something beyond the material realm. By contact with that realm, that intervention can take me out of the stress. Otherwise, nothing here can solve it. And the creator of this world has declared it himself. Dukhalayam ashashratam. Krishna himself has said, this place is a place of misery. It means misery. One of the symptoms of misery is grief, like Arjuna is going through right now. He can't, there's nothing. Look at what Krishna is offering him. He's saying, hey Arjuna, you will get a kingdom. You will get unrivaled kingdom. Something unrivaled means that beyond, no enemy can disturb you. No disturbances will come to you. Now what is the value of that if your mind is and your heart is disturbed? That's Arjuna's argument. Krishna, you want to offer me these things? Asaptam, in the verse, the translation word for word there. One of these is shokam. The original word is chokan, like choke. You know, material stress, difficulties, choke us. Prabhupada translated that lamentation. So, and the other word is sapatam, asapatam, unrivaled. That means there's no enemy. Now, as a king, as a warrior, you're going to have a lot of enemies. And even if everybody, like Yudhishthira Maharaj, if they favor you, surely there's going to be distress and difficulties through material, through nature. No rain. We know the stories of kings who try to pray because there's no rain, do yagyas because there's no rain, or difficulties in weather. So there's going to be some, but Krishna is in an unrivaled kingdom. Arjuna is saying, even if you give me that, if my mind and my heart is not peaceful, what is the value of that? That's why if we take shelter of material things, trying to, like the ostrich, what is the value of that? It doesn't solve the problem. You're still within this realm. You're still within 2 dimensions. And anything and everything within this realm is going to create the same effect. The intelligent thing is to take shelter of a higher source. And that's the intervention of the spiritual master. So when perplexity comes then, one turns upward towards God, towards Krishna, and says, please help me. And his benediction on that is the spiritual master. A very special intervention, a very special soul. The spiritual master, not everybody, like Prabhupada, goes through great lengths in the purport to emphasize what is a bona fide spiritual master. Now, we are fortunate in Krishna, within our sampradaya, we have a bona fide line, we have a parampara system, and we have bona fide teachers who are practicing, who knows the science of Krishna consciousness. Kiba, Prabhupada quotes this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Kiba Vipra, Kiba Nyasi, Sudra Khena Naya. Ye Krishna Tattva Vete Se Guru Haya. One who understands the science of Krishna consciousness, who lives the practice, the living Bhagavatam. 2 Bhagavatas are there, the book Bhagavat and the devotee Bhagavat. One who lives Bhagavatam, one who practices Krishna consciousness, who knows what is Anya Bilashita Sunyam, pure bhakti. One who practices his life according to that and tries to help others according to that. He is not acting in the realm of material nature. His consciousness is transcended to the spiritual realm. Therefore, he is helping you change your consciousness also. Because nothing can otherwise be solved here. There's no adjustment that can be made in the material world. In this wonderful book Prabhupada wrote, The Light of the Bhagavat. Anybody read this? It's a beautiful artistic book. One story there is of a crane. A crane is a kind of a bird, and it's trying to put its foot into a riverbed, and its foot is actually like, it has 3 toes, it's kind of clawed. So it's trying to put its foot into the water, in between the stones, and it can't get in. It's trying to move its foot in, but it can't get in. And it's trying and trying, but it can't really get comfortable. That's the nature here. There's no way that the material world is going to adjust to us. The only solution is to change the consciousness. To understand how the material world works, by understanding the nature of that, transcend it through a higher level of consciousness. Now, not everybody gets the opportunity like us to get the association of bona fide spiritual masters. Satam prasangam mama veera samvinu. It's very difficult to get that kind of sangha. And most people may end up with some character like this. Can you see it? It's a monkey dressed up as a guru. It's in black and white, so you can't see the saffron ring. He's got a garland and everything. It's almost like mirror image here. But it may be like that, because what is the consciousness of a monkey? It's not to degrade religion or spiritual tradition, but which other tradition is teaching one to transcend the material world? Which other religion is saying, this is not where we belong? It's saying it, but which one is practicing it? It's a very high level of practice to live in this world, but transcend and live in the your consciousness in the spiritual world. Otherwise, trying to adjust material nature, exactly what Arjuna figured out. I can't do it. He's an Aryan, he's Gudakesh, the most powerful abilities that any human being can have. He can't do it. If somebody of that caliber of character can't do it, how are we going to do it? So, to get a bona fide spiritual master is a very rare thing. The scriptures describe that what is the, how rare this is. In Nectar of Devotion is described how that just like a log is floating on an ocean, and the log has a little hole in it. And what is the chances of a turtle floating up, coming right up to the log and poking its snout through that hole? What is the chances of that whole situation happening? That's the chances, how rare that is. That's the chances of how rare it is to find a bona fide spiritual master. One who is living Krishna consciousness. Because he's carrying Krishna. Yam Shama Sundaram Achintyam Gunaswarupam. He's carrying Krishna and Shama Sundaram in his heart. Therefore, when he's giving Krishna in that way. This is one of my, when I always feel, try to offer a little prayer to Prabhupada, and you feel, I'm sure you must have, especially on disappearance days or appearance days of Prabhupada, you feel some gratitude. We learned a very nice word in the class today. Towards the end, Matsyavatar Prabhu gave a fantastic definition of gratefulness. Anybody remember it? Yeah? Yes? Kriya? Krita? Gya. Krita Gya. One who's grateful. Gya in mind. Krita, he does things. The Sanskrit word is Kritagya, one who's grateful to the spiritual master. And we've been hearing this is such a common theme, even in our Bhagavatam classes we've been hearing this, right? How indebted, what value it is to have a bona fide spiritual master. And we've been hearing also recently from dedicated devotees of Srila Prabhupada, Gaurijan Prabhu and His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj was also showing and explaining these points very, very vividly, so we really see it in action. So this is one of my favorite pictures of Prabhupada. It's Prabhupada wiping off a tear at the corner of the eye. So when I look at this, it just, it's like, all the things that he's watching me and he's trying to help me in my devotional service and in my Krishna consciousness, and seeing my inabilities and lamenting over that and trying to assist me in whichever, because that's the nature of the pure devotee. In the spiritual master, the word guru is not singular, it's plural. And it's not just a person, it is a person, but it also represents a principle. Tattva. It represents Guru Tattva, it represents a principle. And it can come in any way or form. In any way or form, Krishna can send something, someone to help us remember him at that moment. So that particular picture of Prabhupada is really heartwarming. You feel that indebtedness. You know, when you see somebody you love shed a tear on your behalf, out of mercy towards you, out of compassion towards you, then you'll automatically feel a melting of the heart. You'll automatically feel, I have to do something for this person. He's being so kind to me. He's so nurturing to me. So we all have this opportunity to be part of a great legacy and also of a great adventure. Like you'll hear when we put on the video, that spiritual life actually is the greatest adventure you will ever have. Nobody can ever experience something like this in the material world. If you are an adventure junkie, as they say, you will never experience anything like this in the material world. Because no second moment is the same. No second experience is the same. It is always something new, something fresh, something exciting. Whether it's going up or down, whether our spiritual life is moving up or down, still we always want to come back for more. We've tasted something through these personalities. We've received something, this bhakti lata, we've received this beej. And no matter what we do to try to deny it or try to avoid it due to our inabilities at that moment when we're under the modes, still we will come back. Still they will pull us back. Still they will guide us back. And it's not, even Srila Prabhupada, when he was a grihasta and he had that dream of Bhakti Siddhanta, right? And what did he tell him? You take sannyas. And he was not sure, he was terrified. This is the nature of when the spiritual master intervenes. We try to figure it out. We try to say, well, I understood what the spiritual master is saying. I can understand what he's saying. But it's not always a matter of understanding. It's just a matter of executing. Because if you try to figure out, your mind is intervening there, and the mind is a material element. So it may give you another idea of what is the actual thing, the reality of what the spiritual master is trying to do with you, what he's trying to help you with. And many times we've heard recently how the order, Tamo Krishna Maharaj was just saying, well, I just said China, you know. And what happened, next thing Prabhupada said, I was thinking the whole night, you know, you should go to China. So, and then, wait, Prabhupada, you know, we got so many other things. We got this Radha Damaran party, and we would also do the same thing, right? I would do the same thing. I mean, you know, especially when I realize, you know, it's beyond me. The challenge is beyond me.
He wrote a 30-page dissertation of why it was not possible.
Wow, look at that. 30 pages.
I never heard the thing that Prabhupada hugged him and smiled. I only remember because...
So it's like 30 pages of excuses. Arjuna just gave 4 or 5.
Well, Kamal is expert.
Yes.
And still Prabhupada was so determined to send him to China to get the...
Anyway, he did it.
Yes, that's his glory.
Because of him now there's so many Chinese people are coming. Prabhupada wanted to give the glory to him.
Yes.
He knew.
That's why even those 30 pages now, we'll keep them as like valuable documents to say, well, like, you know, because the fact is he, at the end, no matter what his mind told him, okay, Prabhupada wants it. I should do it. Okay, so similarly we heard from Giriraj Maharaj, similar kind of thing. How would Prabhupada respond to this? When he remember the one pastime Maharaj gave when he said he was so confused about something, and then he spoke to Tamakrishna Maharaj on the rooftop of the Bombay temple, and Tamakrishna Maharaj says, well, you know, the greatest satisfaction, the greatest success in life will come by pleasing the spiritual master. And he kept that as probably one of his foremost instructions in his heart. You know, things that are very dear. We've been hearing also recently that if you do a folio search on that, what is the success of life? Yes, right, to please the spiritual master. Because when he's giving you an instruction, it's not like he wants to put you in difficulty or hurt you. Remember, he's also a disciple. So he knows what he had to go through to do that. Just like if Tamal Krishna Maharaj had to give his disciple an instruction like that, go and preach on the Mars planet or something, you know. He'll know what he had to go through to preach in China. He'll know his disciples will have the same challenges. But his guidance and his love and his affection and the potency to execute that is all coming through that instruction. It's all in a package like that. But do we have the courage to take it on? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in Jaiva Dharma that for one to practice spiritual life, he has to be courageous. You have to be courageous. It really tests your faith. It comes down to the basics. Do you really have it strong enough that it can be tested? Or is it just, going on verbally? Because if it's not genuine enough, then the intervention will not be fully, the intervention of the spiritual teacher, the spiritual master will not be to that degree. So the spiritual master, the gift that we have of having a spiritual master, our personal spiritual masters and our Param Guru, Srila Prabhupada under his guidance, all of that intervention is a wonderful gift. We really tremendous gratitude. They're eternally our well-wishers. Like Prabhupada would end up his letters saying, "You're ever well-wisher." And where did he get that from? From Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This is a signature of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And in Bengali script, it's Nitya Ashirvadaka Siddhanta Saraswati. That's what, and Prabhupada translated that into "Your ever well-wisher." It's the same, that's his signature up there, Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada. This is Prabhupada's signature here. So they're eternally our well-wishers. So we all have a glorious way in which we came to Krishna consciousness. And for the next 5 minutes, it's already 6 o'clock, we'll just play a quick video of somebody that we all know very dearly and look at this person's experience and what it took, that courage to say, "Krishna, I will do anything and everything to come to you." So we're going to just watch this one quickly. I'll just set it up.
Coming out of the forest. I saw it coming out of the forest. His first words, "Take off your western clothes." I was sitting on the bank of the river Ganges when I saw it coming out of the forest. It was a holy man. He walked right up to me. His first words, "Take off your western clothes." I took off my jeans and said a prayer. Threw in the river. They were gone forever. And I took off my shirt and gone forever. And then he had these 2 strips. He said, these will be your underpants. Throw your underpants in the Ganges. This was becoming serious surrender the first day. I took off my underpants. I remember they were full of a boom. It was my only pair. They were gone. And then he said one more thing to me. The Ganges will become your mother. You will understand this because she will reveal it to you. And he turned around and walked away, and I never saw him again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. My old Guru, Srila Prabhupada, wrote a beautiful prayer, and in that prayer he's praying to God. Just let me be a puppet. Make me dance to give happiness and joy to others. It is not by learning scriptures. It is not by making followers. It is not by doing whatever you're doing very expertly. It is not by your austerities. That is not a qualification to see God. It is only devotion. I was born in Chicago, brought up in a northern suburb, and reached my teens in the 1960s. Here I was being taught as we would pledge allegiance to our flag that this was a nation which was the home of the free. But just a few miles away, in the ghettos of Chicago, the African American people, in those days, if you're born in the poverty of the ghetto, 99% you will live and die in the ghetto. And I found myself marching with Martin Luther King's people and getting bottles and stones and curses thrown at me by my white brothers and sisters. Meanwhile, the music of the 60s, they were like our prophets. They were singing about revolution, about peace and love. At the same time, there was a war raging in Vietnam, and when you turned 18, unless you had a deferment, you were drafted and forced to fight. I found myself in Grand Park in Chicago at the Democratic conventions on peaceful demonstration to just question the validity of the Vietnam War. And I was tear-gassed and chased and clubbed down by the police, who I was taught for protecting my freedom. This was painful and confusing. It seemed also hypocritical. And I came to the conclusion, if I really want to make a difference in the world, I have to find a spiritual foundation for myself. So I began traveling to see how other people in different countries view the world. And it's a long story, but I had a calling. On the top of a mountain, praying, meditating, and reading books from sunrise to sunset. That day I was weeping for direction. And I heard 3 words. And when I heard those 3 words, I knew if I followed this calling, everything of my past is gone. And my whole life, everything will be new and dangerously challenging. Am I willing to do it? words were going to India. While I was in India, wandering around through the Himalayas and the jungles, and going to different ashrams and learning from Buddhists and yogis and Baha'is and Sikhs and Jains and Parsis, I was trying to understand so much. In the Middle East, I was studying Islam, that I really wanted to search to find out, is there a common essence of all these spiritual paths that could unite us instead of divide us? And I was learning more and more that the essence of all these great religions is not to be a Muslim or a Jew or a Christian, but to love God and to be a compassionate instrument of God's love to everyone.
So that's just, there are many other spiritual masters within our movement also. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj also had an amazing way which he came to Krishna consciousness. And
Many others.
Hare Krishna. So, yeah, this is just one example of somebody that we know. But yet, if you remember the words, you know, that is dangerously challenging. Am I willing to take that adventure? Am I willing to do it? So life is like that. Life offers so many dangerous challenges. Therefore, we need the guidance of the spiritual master, because his intervention is based on scripture. And that is coming from the spiritual world. So it's God's intervention. And if we do our part in that, then definitely we will get success. So I think we're way over time. So if anybody has any comments or questions, quickly, or yes, anybody? All right, we're over time anyway. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.